Hello everyone, welcome to Home of Happy Minds. Today I will be talking about Chapter 2 New Kings and Kingdoms, and this is the second part of this chapter. So the first part will be given in the description and in the card above. The first part was mainly about the introduction of this chapter, the emergence of new dynasties, the administration in the kingdom, necessities and land grants, and we also got to know about the new kings. So today we will be taking a closer look at the Cholas, which is present in the Tamil Nadu. Number 1, from Urayur to Tanjavur. First of all, how did the Cholas rise to power? A minor chiefly family, which means a royal family known as the Attarayar, held power in the Kaveri Delta. They were subordinate to the Pallava kings of the Kanchipuram. A person called Vijayalaya, who belonged to the ancient chiefly family of the Cholas from Urayur, captured the delta from the Attarayar in the middle of the 9th century CE. He built the town of Tanjavur and a temple for goddess Shumbasudini there. The successors of Vijayalaya conquered neighboring regions and the kingdom grew in size and power. The Pandyan and Pallava territories of the south and north were made part of this kingdom. Rajaraja Chola, considered the most powerful Chola ruler, became the king in 985 CE, and afterwards he also expanded control over most of these areas. He also reorganized the administration of the empire. Rajaraja Chola's son Rajendra Chola continued his policies and even raided the Ganga Valley. He raided the Ganga Valley, Sri Lanka and countries of the Southeast Asia, developing a navy for these expeditions. Let us look at the second topic, splendid temples and bronze sculpture. The big temples of Tanjavur and Gaikonda Cholapuram, which were built by Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra, are architectural and sculpture marvels. Chola temples often became the nuclei of settlements which grew around them. These were the centers of craft production. Temples were also endowed with land by rulers as well as by others. The produce of this land went into maintaining all the specialists who worked at the temple and very often lived near it. Priests, garland makers, cooks, sweepers, musicians, dancers, etc. So in other words, these temples were not only places of worship, they were the hub of economic, social and cultural life as well. Amongst the crafts associated with temples, the making of bronze images was the most distinctive. Chola bronze images are considered amongst the finest in the world. While most images were of deities, sometimes images were made of devotees as well. Number 3. Agriculture and irrigation. Many of the achievements of the Cholas were made possible through new developments in agriculture. Look at this map and notice that the river Kaveri branches off into several small channels before emptying into the Bay of Bengal. These channels overflow frequently, depositing fertile soil on their banks. Water from the channels also provide the necessary moisture for agriculture, particularly the cultivation of rice. Although agriculture developed earlier in other parts of Tamil Nadu, it was only from the 5th or 6th century that this area was opened up for a large-scale cultivation. Forests had to be cleared up for some regions, land had to be leveled in other areas. Now, in the Delta region, embankments had to be built to prevent flooding and canals had to be constructed to carry water to the field. In many areas, 2 crops were grown in a year. Number 4. Administration of the empire. The first question which comes to mind is, how was the empire organized? The settlements of peasants, which is known as Ur, became prosperous with the spread of irrigation agriculture. The groups of such villages formed larger units called the Nadu. The village council and the Nadu performed several administrative functions. The rich peasants of the Vellala caste exercised considerable control over the affairs of the Nadu under the supervision of the central government. The Chola kings gave rich landowners titles like Govindavelan, which means a villein or peasant serving 3 kings, the Arayar, which means chief, etc. So this is the end of the chapter, and thank you. And also don't forget to subscribe to Home of Happy Minds.